Hello class, I welcome you all to this session. This session we are going to discuss what are the merits and demerits of internal source of recruitment as well as external source of recruitment. If you remember in the previous class we have already discussed this internal source of recruitment. What are the merits and what are the demerits? So after the internal source of recruitment we have the external source of recruitment. What are the merits and demerits? You have the qualified persons. In case you are going for external source, you have got the qualified persons, you have a wider choice, you have fresh talents coming into the business, into the organization, you have competitive spirit restored in the organization. These are the merits of external sources of recruitment. Now demerits are it provides dissatisfaction to the existing employees because existing employees are not considered for promotion or any sort of vacancies that's coming to the organization. So this provides a dissatisfaction among the existing employees. It is a costly process because you need to give advertisement, you need to start the recruitment process, you need to do the interview selection process, you need to conduct tests. So all these things will result in cost. Then it is a lengthy process. It's not as easy as internal source. It is a lengthy process. So these are the merits and demerits of external sources of recruitment, which with this slide we are completing the sources of recruitment. Moving forward to the importance and methods of training. What are the importance and methods of training in the organization? Let us first discuss what are the importance. We have two viewpoints. What are the importance to the organization? What are the importance to the employees? Importance to the organization, it is a systematic learning is better than hit and trial method. Trial and error method is not suitable. Systematic learning method is always better. Training provides a systematic way of learning things. Okay, then it enhances the productivity and higher profits. It enhances the productivity. How? You have better trained employees, obviously the productivity of the employees increases and thereby results in the higher profits. It equips future managers. See, when the organization is growing, the human resource in the organization must also grow in order to tackle the future human resource, future managerial position requirements. Okay, and next is reduces absenteeism and employee turnover. It reduces the absenteeism and employee turnover. It obtains the effective response to a fast changing environment. Now, since training and things like that is going on, employees morale, employees participation in the organization will be more, absenteeism will reduce, and thereby it will lead to an effective human resource which can adapt to the fast changing environment. I hope that this is clear. Now, what are the importance to the employees? Obviously, employees benefit from this training program. How? It improves the skills, it improves the knowledge, promotion and career growth is the result. So it improves skill and knowledge, thereby promotion and career growth is the result of those improved skills and knowledge. You have higher earning. Once you are getting trained, you get a new skill sets. So obviously it results in higher earning. More efficient to handle machines. It is more efficient. You are more efficient to handle sophisticated machines. Increases the satisfaction and morale of the employees. So these are the importance, or you can say benefit to the organization, benefit to the employees if you train the employees in the organization. Now moving forward, what are the methods of training? You have on the job training and off the job training. First we will discuss what are the on the job training. First one is apprenticeship training. Apprenticeship training, what is this? It is a trainee is kept under the guidance of the master worker or experienced guide for a prescribed period 2 to 5 years. See, majorly this kind of work is related to skilled jobs where you have plumbers, electricians, iron workers, etc. During training period, trainees are paid very less. So this is called as apprenticeship training. Now trainees are kept under the guidance of master worker. That master worker is the experienced person expertised in that particular field. Okay, so this is all about apprentice training. Next one is internship training. You have job joint program of training, educational institution and business firm cooperates. Now what is this? Here there is a joint program, there is a mutual agreement between the education institution and the business firm to cooperate. Education institution sends their students to the company or firm to get themselves trained. So that is called as internship training. There is no salary given, only a stipend given by the uh, organization. Candidates work under real work situation. This is an advantage of internship training. Internship training is an added advantage. It adds on to your resume. Okay, so on the job training you have that is apprenticeship training, internship training, and the third one is induction training. What is induction training? It is introductory training program to introduce the selected employees to other employee and familiarize them with rules and policies of the organization. It may last for a few hours or few days. So induction training is given to new employees who are newly joining in the organization to familiarize them with the rules, policies, and their fellow workers about the hierarchy of the organization. So, this is all about on the job training. The next one is off the job training, that is vestibule training. Employees learn their jobs on the equipment they will be using. See, you can see that two trainees are actually looking into what is the equipment that's there. Okay, so employees, they are employees of the organization, they are under the training period. So their equipment is there, it's been given to them, and training is conducted away from the actual work floor. So there is a separate space for them. They have been given that equipment and they have to get themselves trained with the supervision of an expert. It is an actual work environment created in a classroom, done when employees are to handle sophisticated machinery and equipment. See, when in the factory machineries are very costly. Suppose newly employed person unknowingly touched any button or touched any part of the machinery and the machinery got damaged, it will lead to a heavy cost to the organization. To avoid all these things, this vestibule training is introduced, where one machine is kept, all the trainees learn. Generally this machine would be little old or maybe new also, depends on the organization. They will learn and then they will go to the work spot, do the work. Okay, so this is off the job training. So on the job training and off the job training, this is the questions may be asked in your 1 mark, maybe 4 marks, also giving a case study with the response. You have to look into the interior points, don't just remember the points, understand what is the training process. Okay, moving forward, the difference between on the job training method and off the job training method. See, on the job training method is applied to the workplace. Off the job training method is used away from the workplace. It is learning while doing, it is learning before doing. Okay, and then you have some examples given. We have already seen those examples: apprenticeship training, internship training, then induction, then off the job methods are vestibule training, lecture, conference, etc. And training provided by superior to the subordinate. Now in the on the job training, who provides training? The superior provides to the subordinate. Under off the job training, an expert provides to the learners. An expert is you know uh, is recruited or hired for this purpose. He provides training to the learners. it is less costly. What is less costly? On the job training is very less costly, but off the job training is quite costly, because you need to have a separate space, you need to hire a person, you need to put in all the needed equipments for in a separate place, so it's more costly. On the job training has a less time consuming, but off the job training is consuming more time. Okay, and jobs are simple, but here jobs are complex, uses sophisticated machines. So these are the difference between on the job method and off the job method. Now other methods of training are also there, such as job rotation. Job rotation is nothing but shifting the trainee from one department to another, or from one job to another. Employees gain a broader understanding of job, improves coordination and cooperation, easy at the time of promotion, replacement or transfer. Generally, this kind of setup is famous in banks. If you see one person, one employee in the cash counter, next month or next week he will be in another counter. So his job will get rotated from one cabinet, one place to another place. This will give an on the whole, that is a wider understanding of the entire operations of bank. So shifting the trainee from one department to another, or from one job to another, is called as job rotation. Employee is being given a broader perspective. He need not know only his job, he should know also the other person's job, so he will be able to perform better. That is the idea. It improves the coordination and cooperation among the employees, and it's easy to get employees ready for their promotion, replacement or transfer. Okay, so this is on the job, that is job rotation. Then second one is coaching. Coaching is, see, it is a role. What is the role of coach or counselor? You have, they have to suggest how to achieve goals. They have to review periodically trainees' performance or progress, and suggest changes required in behavior and performance. So these are the role of a coach or a counselor. So coaching and mentorship will provide motivation, advice. They also contribute to the success. They provide direction. They are goal oriented. They are a support system. They have potential aspects to grow, make you grow, and they provide training also. So this is also one of the methods of training. Okay, so coaching. Then you have classroom, lectures or conference. You can see conference is little bigger, classroom is a smaller setup. It is suitable to convey specific information, rules, procedures or methods. This is one of the methods that can be followed while training the employees. The fourth one is films. It provides information and explicitly demonstrates skills that are not easily represented by other techniques. You have a lot of films that can, or documentary films for that matter, to cater to various training aspects of employees. One documentary film, one documentary movie will actually enlighten and train the employee so much. Okay, so films. Fifth one is case study. Case study are generally taken from actual life experience of organizations of any sort of life, or any sort of behavior of human resource. Okay, so it is taken from the actual experiences of organizations. Trainees study the cases to determine problems, analyze causes, develop alternative solutions, select what they believe the best solution is. So case study is one important method of training, where it depends on the profession. For lawyers, you have a lot of case study. For marketing students, if you want to train them, for management students, you want to train them, then case studies is one important training method. So they are able to understand the problem, analyze, and develop alternative solution and choose the best alternative solution based on a theory of knowledge. So other methods of study, so we have covered 5. Sixth one is computer modeling. See, computer modeling is nothing but you have everything created in a computerized setup. Okay, it stimulates the work environment by programming a computer to imitate some realities of job. So you are artificially create, you are animatedly created some thing and you load it into the computer, and this method is being used when the machinery is really costly and it will take a lot of expenses, it takes a lot of cost to actually try out in the natural setup. So computerized setup is created to reduce cost and also sometimes accidents. You are handling some dangerous chemicals. In that case also, to avoid accidents, this kind of setup can be adopted. Computer modeling, where everything is being computerly altered. You just have to, by click of mouse, you just understand the method and process and formulas, etc. The seventh last process is programmed instruction, that is incorporates a pre-arranged and proposed acquisition of some specific skills or general knowledge. It is a pre-arranged and proposed acquisition of some specific skills or general knowledge. Information is broken into meaningful units, and these units are arranged in a proper way to form logical and sequential learning packages. So you have you have few diagrams here. There is a sequence of diagram through which lessons can be taught or training methods can be taught. So this is called as programmed instruction. It is a pre-arranged series of uh, information broken into meaningful units, and those units are logically formed to provide learning packages. So this is also one method of training. So by which we have completed this chapter called as staffing. The next chapter that we will be discussing will be directing. Okay. Thank you class. I'll see you in the next video.